Are you coming to Bonaire to shore dive? Do you plan on diving the dive site Invisibles? Would you like some tips and tricks to make your Bonaire shore diving experience easier and more enjoyable?
Well, that's what we're talking about in this video.
And we're doing it right now. Hey folks, Kevin and Liz here on beautiful Bonaire with the video about the dive site Invisibles. We're going to tell you everything you need to know to have an enjoyable dive site here, or I should say there. We're obviously not at the dive site right now, but we'll jump down there in just a little bit. But we're going to tell you everything you need to know about the outside of the boiler part of the dive site, how to enter and exit, where to. Liz will actually demonstrate that entry to you, give you some navigational tips, and a lot of other fun information. But before we get to that, could you do us a favor? Could you subscribe to our channel? We'd really appreciate that if you already have subscribed. Thank you so much. Can't tell you how much that means to us. Really helps make sure our content is recommended to your fellow Bonaire travelers. But if you haven't, I don't know why, it's free. So just take a giant stride on that subscribe button. Then make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be made aware when we have new content for you to enjoy. But right now, let's talk about Invisibles and why you actually must dive this dive site. One of my favorites, it's on the southern end of the island. It's the second dive site past Salt Pier. It's part of the Double Reef system. And what's nice is that second reef is broken into 3 coral islands. But don't be afraid to stay on the inner reef. It's probably prettier on that inner reef than it is on the second reef, which sometimes gets silted up because of the sand channel. But it's a beautiful site. You really need to dive it. Liz is going to tell you about some of the awesome stuff you can see while you're out there on the reef.
I really like this site. It's, as Kevin mentioned, it has that double reef system. It's a really beautiful dive. When you're going over the first reef and you're going over to the second reef, there's a sandy channel there that just has a ton of garden eels. So it's really fun to go see those, watch them pop their little heads out and pop back in. You know, sometimes you can see rays going through that channel. And then pop over to the other reef and see, you know, it's just a lot of fish there. It's nothing really unusual that you don't see other places, but there really is just a plethora of fish around. The shallows are also really nice. There are some good anemones, some little tiny creatures to watch. It's overall just a really pretty dive.
Really is. Love the dive site. Check that inner channel. Sometimes you'll see eagle rays flying by in between the 2 reefs. But as Liz mentioned, your usual suspect of fish. Good place for eels. Typically find some green morays, which is super nice. Love finding those. But tons of good stuff. And the shallows, make sure you check for turtles. Not at all uncommon to see them there. There is a lot of sand in the shallows though. But like Liz mentioned, on the channel plus the shallows, check for those little garden eels. They're not shy either, which is kind of odd about garden eels, but you're going to love the site. But enough of all that. Let's go actually down to the dive site and we'll show you what it's all about. Okay, let's take a look at the lay of the land here at Invisibles. You can see the yellow rock over here at the end of kind of the dive site area. There's another one that comes before it. The paint is faded. But this is the second dive site past the Salt Pier. You'll see Salt City, then Invisibles. You'll most likely see trucks like you see here. It's a very, very popular site because it's an awesome site. But just park where you can. There's not a lot of area to park. That's why I'm across the street. But let's go take a look at that and take a look at the entry. The entry is actually back this way. So where this truck is parked is much better, and this truck too. But I do ask that you make room for 2 side by side if you can. On either side, there's just not a lot of room to park here. Occasionally, you'll see trucks that are backed up and down the hill. That's a good way to have tanks roll out, and whatever works for you, but I would not recommend that. But come on down to the entry and exit. It's a nice, easy entry. You really don't need those walking sticks. I mean, they're never a bad idea for the ruts and things in the water. But come on down. You can either go this way and around the rocks or come through here.
But once again, fairly easy entry. But here's a good example of what happens oftentimes on these southern sites, and northern for that matter. The waves crashing really silt things up, okay? You get a lot of sand there, so you don't know what you're stepping down into, which is a good reason probably to use those walking sticks. But just wait, let the water come in, then go back out, and then you'll be able to see the little holes and things that you need to step in or step over. But not much of a step down here. You'll step over. There are ruts. You can almost see them, maybe you can, through the cloud of sand in there. So it's not just an easy beach walk-in. You do have some things to contend with, so you do need to have good balance, have a wide stance, use that walking stick to steady yourself, get on out to where you can put your fins on and start kicking for the mooring buoy. That's how we dive the site. I recommend you surface swim out to the mooring buoy. It's a decent swim. It's not the longest on the island. It's not the shortest. It's a decent little surface swim out there. Once you get to the mooring buoy, turn back around, take a compass heading back here to shore, then descend. What's nice is just south of the mooring buoy is a big sand channel. This is part of the double reef. As we mentioned earlier, although it's broken into islands for the second part of the reef, but there is a big sand channel. It's hard to miss. It's to the south of the mooring buoy, out into the main channel of the second reef. It'll take you over, if you keep going south, to the small coral islands that make up Invisibles. One thing I want you to be aware of, though, is don't mistake the main channel and the channels in between the coral islands for your exit point, because there is second reef north of that mooring buoy sand channel, and they kind of come around like this. In the Reef Smart Guide to Bonaire, there's a good picture of what you're going to see, so I recommend you have that book. Take a look at it prior to your dive, so you'll kind of see what the layout is, and then do your dive. If you're spending time here on the inner reef, it's a great dive. As you go south, the depth actually comes up. So what you're going to notice, if you're staying on the inner reef, once you cross that white sand channel and keep going south, you're going to see that you come up in depth, which is super nice. A lot of good stuff to see there. You can then go out to the second reef if you like, but just keep your bearings, take good compass headings while you're underwater too. So when you come back and you want to swim up this main channel to the mooring buoy for your exit, you know which one it is. As we discussed though, take a good compass heading to come back here for your exit. I do recommend you get out where you got in. Certainly you can exit anywhere along here. It's not bad. You just have the same ruts and things to contend with. But great dive site. Highly recommend you come dive Invisibles. There's a reason it's so popular. This is also a site that I recommend if you have a camera, as you're doing your swim out, about halfway to the mooring buoy, you'll be facing back towards the parking lot. Snap a picture. Take that red filter off. Snap a picture. It's one of those sites where the parking lot is kind of above you and there's nothing behind it except blue sky and clouds. Just makes for a wonderful picture. You've probably seen pictures like that. It kind of looks cool when the trucks are there, they're above you. So I recommend you take that picture. Anyway, just a fun fact. Think about doing that. Anyway, come on out here to enjoy your dive. I'm gonna go find Liz and she'll demonstrate how to enter here at Invisibles. All right, here comes Liz. She's gonna show us how to enter here at Invisibles. You really got to do what she's doing, wait for that water to come in to go out so you can see where the holes are. It can get really churned up here. And even then, once you can see it, it's not that easy. But use that walking stick because you've got holes and ruts here. Saw she had to step up there and she's heading out to more ruts. Hopefully you can see where it's going to clear up a little bit. It's still a good ways past her. But see how those ruts get you? It's good to have that walking stick. It just saved her. And right about there, she can put her fins on if she wants. She's gonna turn around and come on out. See how she takes her time? Take as long as you need, folks. Take as long as you need. But that's the way you do it, folks, just like that. Well, folks, that's just about going to do it here for us at the Dive Site Invisibles. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. But definitely come dive this site. There's a reason it's so popular. It is awesome. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find Liz. We're going to gear up, get in, and I'll see you at the next dive site.